Hey guys, it's Hope from Pancreatically Challenged. Today I'm going to show you guys how to put in a different kind of sight again in the arm, but this time I'm going to show you how to do it on your own. So the sight that I'll be using is the Contact Detach, which is basically a 2-point anchoring system kind of sight. I've got one in my arm here. This is the sight, and then it connects to this little anchor here, which is kind of like a built-in safety loop, so that if your tubing gets tugged, it tugs here and hopefully doesn't rip your sight out. So I'll be using that, and again the Animas Vibe pump. So I've done a few things in preparation before the video. So I've loaded up my cartridge already and opened up the sight just to make things a little bit quicker than last time. So if you do want to see all of the filling of the cartridge and things, just head to the last video that I did, and that details all of that. So filling of the cartridge is the same for any sight, which is why I haven't included it in this video. So first thing we need to do is we need to take out our old cartridge and put in a new one. So for that we need to go to our menu, we need to go down to prime and rewind, we need to go up to rewind and go rewind, and that is going to take our little screw all the way back so that we can fit in a new cartridge. So pull out the old cartridge and remember to remove the cartridge cap. Put this one on very tight. I'll just take that cartridge cap off. I just snipped my tubing because this was on way too tight and I wasn't going to get it off, so that was my way of getting the cartridge cap off. But if you need to reuse the tubing, obviously that's not something you should do. Now we need to load in our new cartridge. So for that we need to take our new cartridge and our tubing for the sight and pop our battery cap on the tubing, and then twist that onto our cartridge, not too tight like I did last time, and then pop that into the hole here and put on our cartridge cap. So not too tight, but firm enough that it's not going to pop off. And then we need to go here and just go continue. And with loading the cartridge, what that does is the little kind of plunger winds up until it finds the bottom of the cartridge and tells us how much insulin is in there. So that's found the bottom of the cartridge, which is great. So now what I'll do is I will prep my sight. So just again grabbing just a standard alcohol swab. My sight's going to be on this arm, so I tend to do quite a large area. Often I don't know exactly where I'm going to put my sight in until I do it. So we'll do that, and then we need to prime our tubing. So with the Contact Detach, and what it's really important to remember is not just this piece of tubing that you need to prime. You actually need to prime this little piece as well. So to not forget that, often as soon as I take the tubing and sight out of the box, I will connect them so that I remember that I need to prime through both. Because if you don't and you put your sight in and you haven't primed it through, your sight's useless and you've got to take it out. So these two connect just like any normal sight, they just clip together. And then you have this whole piece here that you're going to prime. Now what you normally have on the other sights is you'll prime all your tubing, and then you will separately do a little cannula fill for this part of the sight. But with this one, the Contact Detach, the cannula is actually steel, so you don't pull out anything, and it's also connected way back here. So we need to prime it all in one and then put it in. So we will go back on here, find the right place, and get back to here and go prime, continue, and then we will go prime. Again, do it until like 3 drops of insulin come out. So I have a little napkin on my knee, and I'll just hold this above here, and 1, 2, 3, done. Cool. So that's it all primed. You'll see that the next stage is fill cannula, but on this one, as I explained before, we don't need to do that because it's part of the priming process. So we'll move on to putting the site in. With this, it's just a lot easier if you unclip the pump from the site. There's less tubing to have to deal with. Doing it on your own, if you're doing it with someone, it is quite a bit easier, but often there's not someone around every time that we have to do a site change. So if you have someone with you, get them to grab from underneath your site and pinch your arm quite hard, and then you can put your site in just on top where the skin's quite taut. If you don't have someone to do that, obviously we want our skin to be quite taut, so we need some way of making that happen, of pushing it up. Now what I tend to do is actually use my knee, so just bring my knee up and put my arm over and press it out, and that makes this piece of skin here quite taut and good to put the needle into. Other options are that you can use a doorway, get up beside the doorway, and if the doorway's here, just push your arm against it, or the back of a chair is quite good as well. So those are some different methods of how you can get that kind of taut skin on your arm. Now I tend to put in the needle first and then the attachment point. I find it's just easier to, rather than having the needle piece flying around while you're trying to hook that on. So this is our wee site here. That's what it looks like. I always remove the plastic first, just to stop getting a needle stick here that prevents that. And you'll see that there's a wee butterfly piece here that you can grab, which is very handy, and peel off that second piece too. Now when you're prepping to put the site in, always make sure for your arm that the tubing is coming up the way, because if the tubing is coming down the way, you're going to have this huge loop to come back into your top. Or if it's coming up the way, the anchor point will just come up the way and continue round into your top, so you use less tubing. So we've got our site all ready, holding it like this, and then we'll just take this piece off, and that right there is the site. So that's going to stay in you. The needle doesn't come out like the other sites, so that'll be in you the whole time. So now you just get your arm up and press it. Find a bit that's quite taut. So I've got a bit there. Hold it up. Sorry, I'm not able to show you very well, but I generally just do on the count of 3. So 1, 2, 3. Smooth all of that down, and that is that. And so the next bit is the hardest bit, and I often struggle doing it on my own, is taking off the sticky things on this one, because often the second one doesn't want to come off. So that is the first one, and then we will try and get that second one off. So this is a part where it is really handy to have 2 hands, and often I will do the inputting of the site on my own, and then I will go and find someone else in the house who can help me take this off. I might just, there we go, we've got it. So a little bit of effort. Right, so with this bit, you need to make sure that wherever you put this, there's enough room between the two that they're not going to pull. So often I'll put my arm up in the air and see, and then I'll put my arm down and out, just to get because your arm does move, so just to make sure that I do have enough space between the two, and then I will stick that one on, again making sure that the piece that connects is poking up the way. Now you'll probably notice with this site I have some black stuff on it. So these little butterfly clips that we held before to actually put the site in, I find that often they snag on my tops and then rip my site out. So a way to prevent that is I use something called K-tape. You can just get it at the pharmacy, and it's just a black tape. You can get it in other colours, but it's a material tape, and I cut out a circle and just stick that over my sight, and it means that there's nothing that can snag or pull, and my sight tends to last a lot longer. So to get that circle, I just use an egg cup and draw around it. I find that that's a really good size for the sight. So I will just quickly cut that out and then stick that over the top. And the same goes for wherever I put the sight on my body. I find often if I'm putting it in my legs, it snags on my trousers a lot when I'm taking my trousers off and will just rip straight out. So this is the way that I have found to prevent that. So we'll peel that off, and then with this tape it's really stretchy. It's for like if you've got a sprain or something like that, so it actually moves with your skin, so it's not going to tug and pull, which is really handy. And then just find our sight and put that on like that. And if you want to, you can cut different shapes, squares or love hearts or whatever it is that you want to put on it, and put that over the top and use different colours if you like to. So the last thing that we have to do is plug in our sight. Now for my arm, I tend to just tuck it under my straps, and then plug it in like that and stick it down there. So that's how I put my sight in. For this one, I'll just take it off just to show you how I take it off, because I do it slightly differently to my other sights, just purely because it's a straight needle. This one here, you can see that I had to put black tape around here because I actually ripped off this contact point, which was not very good, so I had to find a way of sticking it back down. So I always take off the contact point first, because otherwise you have a needle kind of flying around as you're trying to take off the other one, and you don't want to get a needle stick injury. So for this one, what I tend to do is pull from the sides into the middle. This might actually, the black stuff might come off and leave the side on. So it shows how strong the sights are and that you can pull the black tape off and the sight still stays in there. So we get the sides of the sight and pull them into the middle so that only the middle is stuck down like that. And then I just grab those butterfly wings and pull straight out. I find that pulling straight out avoids the needle kind of tearing at my skin, and comes out quite cleanly, as you can see there. So that is what was in there. And with this, what I tend to do for putting it in the sharp spin is I get the other side of the sight, which is flat and hard plastic, and I squish the needle flat against that. So squish those there and join them up, and then just put that whole unit in the bin. And that way, if this gets laid down or anything on its way to the sharp spin, no one's going to get a needle stick injury from it, which is quite good. So again, using the alcohol prep pad, just give that a bit of a wipe. I find that helps remove the sticky stuff and helps prevent any infections there. So hopefully that was of some help to you. If you have any questions or comments, just chuck them below. Let me know what you thought, and let me know if you do try this and if it works for you, or if you have any other methods. I'd be really keen to know what you guys do to put your sights in your arms on your own. Have a great day, and remember, you can comment to me on Twitter at HopeyDunks, on Instagram at Hopey_dunks, and on Facebook now at My Pink Pancreas. So have a great day, guys, and let me know what you think. Bye.